Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to PWLA IAS, UPSC optional batch for public administration. Please confirm whether the audio and video is clear. Once again, this is my Telegram channel. Any doubts or queries, whatever you have, please send it over here. So in the last class, basically we dealt with PRI and PESA. So Panchayati Raj institution, we saw how it came about through the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. We saw how for 5th schedule areas, you have a concept called Gram Sabhas. And then we saw for other areas, you have PESA. This is our understanding so far. We saw a few powers also. अब इतना जो कुछ हमने यहां पर देखा है, ये सब क्या है? स्ट्रक्चर है. What we really need is कि इनका करंट एनालिसिस या ट्रेंड क्या है. कानून तो बना लिया आपने, लेकिन ग्राउंड लेवल पर हाउ आर थिंग्स वर्किंग, दैट इज ऑलवेज द एरिया फ्रॉम वेयर यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट अ क्वेश्चन. बिकॉज ये स्ट्रक्चर से जुड़े हुए सवाल क्यों नहीं आएगा? Let us say why. Because this is a repeat of whatever is there in your polity. Almost any student will be able to answer this. The key here is to understand what are the real troubles of Panchayati Raj institutions and what are its associated solution. तो देख लेते हैं कि rural governance में, let us analyze the PRIs. The status of devolution varies widely among states. मतलब there is no uniformity. Obviously, स्टेट का आजादी है या फिर यह स्टेट का फैसला है कि कितना पावर पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशंस को देना है. स्टेट विल डिसाइड. Nobody else can decide it there. State government's commitment to decentralization is crucial for making Panchayati Raj institutions effective at the grassroots level. Constitutional amendments detail fiscal devolution, emphasizing on 1 minute. Detailed fiscal devolution, emphasizing own revenue generation. मतलब सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यहां पर क्या है? द पंचायत शुड बी एबल टू जनरेट देयर ओन रेवेन्यू, खुद का रेवेन्यू. States Panchayati Raj Acts enable taxation and collection efforts by PRIs, although revenue remains largely reliant on grants. कानून तो कहता है कि पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशन को काबिल बना दो खुद का टैक्सेशन और कलेक्शन के लिए. लेकिन व्हाट इज द रियलिटी? The reality is that they are dependent on grants. कहां से? Grants from center, grants from states. Despite efforts, PRIs currently derive only 1% of revenue from taxes, with 80% from the center and 15% from states, highlighting ongoing challenges in fiscal independence even decades after devolution initiatives began. मतलब revenue receipts of panchayats for the year 22-23, if you see, grants from central government, all these are in crores, by the way. All right. So you can closely see this is close to 25,000 rupees. 25,000 crore. Grants from state government is almost like, let us say, 8,000. And look at this. Own tax revenue, own non-tax revenue. Both are what? Very, very less. And if we go by the akadas here, 80% is from center, 15% from states. That means 95% of grants. %95 of revenue is from grants. This clearly highlights अगर कोई भी चीज का प्रॉपर स्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, अगर आप क्लियरली उसका फाइनेंशियल पावर्स डिफाइन नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो क्या हो जाएगा? वो इंस्टीट्यूशन नाजुक या नाकाबिल बन जाएगा. PRIs are very weak in our country for this one simple reason. क्योंकि जब आप ग्रांट्स के लिए इंतजार कर रहे हैं सेंटर से और स्टेट से, तो आपका आजादी कम होगा. आपको जो कुछ भी आपको अगर करना भी है, सेंटर जो कहेगा या स्टेट जो कहेगा उसके हिसाब से आपको करना पड़ेगा. सेंटर का स्कीम या स्टेट का स्कीम. खुद का स्कीम अगर आपको इंप्लीमेंट भी अगर करना है, यू नीड व्हाट फॉर दैट? यू नीड योर ओन फंड. आगे रेवेन्यू पर पंचायत इन परसेंटेज टर्म्स इन 2022-23. once again 80%, 15%. Below 10% is the total own tax revenue and non-tax revenue. That is, you put these two together, it is just 5%. Put these two, that is 95%. ठीक है. The expert committee report from the Ministry of Panchayati Raj details state acts enabling rural local bodies to collect various tax and non-tax revenues. State acts enable rural local bodies to collect tax and non-tax revenues. States are giving them the freedom. These include किस टाइप ऑफ टैक्सेस एंड नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यूज आर देयर? दे इंक्लूड प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स, लैंड रेवेन्यू सेस, स्टैम्प ड्यूटी, सरचार्जेस, टोल्स, प्रोफेशनल टैक्स, advertisement revenues, and user charges for utilities. These constitute what? The own source of revenue or OSR. For rural local bodies. Panchayats are urged to create favorable conditions for taxation through effective financial regulations. This involves decisions on tax and non-tax basis, rate setting, periodic revisions, exemptions, and robust tax management and enforcement laws. Non-tax revenue potential includes fees, rents, investment income, and sales and higher charges. मतलब पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशन से एक्सपेक्टेशन क्या है? कि आप आपके फाइनेंसेस ढंग से मैनेज करो, टैक्स रेट्स क्लैरिटी रखो, करेक्ट तरीके से उसे कलेक्ट करो, जहां कोई डिस्काउंट या रिबेट या कुछ भी अगर देना है वो दे दो. दिस इज द एक्सपेक्टेशन. एंड वी हैव नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू ऑल्सो फॉर द पंचायत. पेपर में अगर आप देखोगे तो यार इतना सब कुछ तो है, तो फिर प्रॉब्लम क्या है? वाई इज इट दैट पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशंस कंटिन्यू टू डिपेंड ऑन grants from center and states? Why are they not focusing on this? Let us see. Innovative projects like rural business hubs, commercial ventures, renewable energy, carbon credits, CSR funds, and donations can also generate own source revenue. So, business hubs, commercial ventures, renewable energy, carbon credits, CSR funds, and donations can also generate own source of revenue. These are the other sources. Gram Sabhas are pivotal in driving self-sufficiency and sustainable development at the grassroots by utilizing local resources for revenue generation. They oversee planning, decision-making, and implementation in sectors like agriculture, tourism, and small-scale industries. तो ग्राम सभा भी इसी तरह लोकल रिसोर्सेस इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं किसके लिए? रेवेन्यू जनरेशन के लिए. Focus on agriculture, tourism, and small scale industries. With the authority to levy taxes, fees, and charges, Gram Sabhas allocate funds for local development, public services, and social welfare. Like I already told you, Gram Sabhas के पास काफी power है. Just like Panchayat only, Gram Sabha also has enough power to what? Powers of taxation, finance management, all of that. सब कागज पर है. ग्राउंड लेवल हकीकत क्या है? Transparent financial management and inclusive participation ensure accountability and community trust, empowering villages towards economic independence and resilience. To optimize revenue, Gram Sabha should promote entrepreneurship and forge partnership with external stakeholders. Yet, in many states, Gram Panchayats lack tax authority, and intermediate and district Panchayats also often lack this responsibility. Current Gram Panchayats collect 89% of their own taxes, while intermediate panchayats collect 7% and district panchayats collect a nominal 5%. Gram level, district block level, intermediate level, then the district level. If you look at how much efficiently they are collecting their taxes, gram level par theek hai, 89% is there. But the intermediate level, it is only 7%, and at the district level, it is only 5%. That means 93 or 95% of the taxes are not being collected properly. Aage. There is a crucial need to delineate our own source revenue responsibilities across all three tiers of panchayats to ensure equitable distribution. So main issue क्या है? Some of the main issues are एक, नो स्टाफ. दूसरा, dominance of bureaucracy. Any tax you want to collect, any new scheme you want to do, you need approval from what? The IAS officer there. तीसरा, opposition from state government. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कभी भी ये नहीं चाहेंगे कि ग्राम पंचायत सभी इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाए या फिर वो लोग एकदम ताकतवर बन जाए, है ना? वी विल सी दैट नाउ. इन आंध्र प्रदेश, panchayats revenue formed just 0.1% of the state's own revenue, while in UP it constituted the highest at 2.5%. That means we can see here also variation in OSR. There is a general reluctance to generate own income due to several factors. Panchayats are increasingly less motivated to collect own source revenue as Central Finance Commission grants increase. This is the next thing. Theory X behavior. यानी कि सेंट्रल फाइनेंस कमीशन ने रेकमेंड किया है ज्यादा फंड्स या फिर ग्रांट्स पंचायत्स को देना है. जब मुझे ग्रांट मिल रहा है ऊपर से, सेंटर से, तो व्हाई शुड आई बॉदर अबाउट कलेक्टिंग माय ओन टैक्सेस? आराम से बैठो, ग्रांट को आने दो, वो जो भी स्कीम वो लोग कहेंगे वो हम इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे. व्हाई शुड आई ब्रेक माय हेड? एंटायर फंड इज गोइंग टू कम फ्रॉम सेंटर. I will use that. Whatever schemes they suggest, whether I need it or my village needs it, I don't care. Money is coming, right? Let me use that. Panchayats are increasingly less motivated to collect own source revenue as Central Finance Commission grants increases. Allocations for rural local bodies from the 10th and 11th CFCs were 4,380 crore and 8,000 crore respectively, whereas the 14th and 15th CFCs saw significant increases with 2 lakh crore and 2,80,733 crore allocated respectively. Getting the point here? Look at the sudden change in from 4 jump to 8, But from 8, it has gone for a straight jump to 2 lakh crore and then to 2 lakh 80,000 crore. That is almost 3 lakh crore. इतना ज्यादा फंड मिल रहा है ग्रांट के तरह. Why should I break my head for collecting my own source of revenue? Be it tax या फिर non-tax. The tax collected in 2018-19 was 3,12,075 lakh, which diminished in 2021-22 to 2,71,386 lakhs. देख लो जरा. मतलब जैसे ही फाइनेंस कमीशन का ग्रांट बढ़ गया, टैक्स कलेक्शन कम हो गया. कोई दिलचस्पी नहीं है. The non-tax collected for the same period was 2,33,863 and 2,09,864 lakh. Total tax collected from all the panchayats, mind you. 2 लाख के आसपास, I mean 3 लाख के आसपास, that's it. उससे ज्यादा नहीं. And वो भी कम हो चुका है. Panchayats once competed to raise own source revenue to meet basic needs, but now rely heavily on grants from central and state finance commissions. Some states offer matching grants as incentives, but implementation has been limited. Panchayats also do not penalize defaulters, viewing OSR more as supplementary income rather than integral to their financial stability. Getting the point here? That is, earlier, so if I don't pay the property tax on time, what should be happening? I should pay the fine. I should pay extra money, penalty fees. Nothing. Panchayat is not bothering to come and collect the fees. Then why will I go and volunteer and pay? Got the point here? So, Panchayats also do not penalize defaulters. Moving on. Despite favorable conditions for revenue generation, Panchayats face barriers in mobilizing resources. The prevalent freebie culture discourages tax compliance among the public. This is the next reason. मैं क्यों टैक्स भरूं? I am getting free electricity, let us say, because I am a farmer. I am getting free this, free that, government has announced. So no need to pay anything. Whatever services I use. Ulta, even if I have to pay also, I will demand it from the panchayat. अगले बार अगर इलेक्शन चुनाव जीतना है तो फ्री भी दे दो. Simple. Elected representatives fear tax imposition could harm their popularity. There's a crucial need to educate both elected representatives and the public about the importance of revenue generation for developing self-governing panchayats. बोलना आसान है, करना बहुत मुश्किल है. Because ultimately people are only going to ask, मेरा क्या फायदा है? Elected representative हो या public हो, they are only going to ask that. Why will they be interested? Okay, अगर हमारे पास पैसा है, अगर पंचायत के पास पैसा है, तो फिर हमारी परवरिश होगा, हमारे डेवलपमेंट के लिए हम बहुत सारे स्कीम्स ला सकते हैं. Why are they going to be worried? They are not at all worried because grants is coming from one side. Freebies are being announced by the state government and central government. So that, तो मैं मांग सकता हूं कि देखो सेंटर इतना ऑफर कर रहा है, स्टेट इतना ऑफर कर रहा है, तू क्या ऑफर करोगे? If I vote for your party, what will you give me for the panchayat election? Overcoming dependency on grants is essential for panchayats to sustain themselves. A parliamentary panel criticized the Panchayati Raj Ministry for not releasing funds to states under the Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. The funds are intended for capacity building, training elected representatives, functionaries, and other stakeholders of panchayats, as stated in the Standing Committee on Rural Development and Panchayati Raj report tabled in Rajya Sabha. तो ये फंड किस काम के लिए है? Capacity building, training elected representatives, functionaries, and other stakeholders of panchayats, as stated in the Standing Committee on Rural development and Panchayati Raj. Basically what? To help the Panchayat members. उन्हें अपडेट कर दो, उन्हें अपग्रेड कर दो, इंटरनेट कैसे हैंडल करना है, कैसे फंडिंग करना है, ये सारे चीज. So a parliamentary panel committee basically asked, why have you not released the funds? The ministry attributed this to delayed submission of required documents and non-compliance with Ministry of Finance instructions. The Ministry of Panchayati Raj ने कहा कि it is not that we didn't send the funds. They are not giving us the required documents. They are not submitting it on time. They are not doing their job properly. That is why we are struggling. Getting the point here? The committee recommended that the ministry ensure proactive compliance with Ministry of Finance requirements and timely submission of documents by states or union territories to ensure uniform fund allocation. It noted that 19 out of 34 states and union territories did not receive funds under the Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan for the financial year 2022-23, similar to the situation in 2021-22, where 9 out of 34 states and union territories received no funds. तो 21-22 में 9 out of 34 states and union territories did not receive any fund. In 22-2023, 19 out of 34 states and union territories did not receive any fund under Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. Why? Non-compliance. Why? Now, what is the catch here? Catch is simple. Center, state, दोनों का ऑडिट करते हैं कौन? CAG. Rural local bodies, urban local bodies, are not audited by CAG. Good afternoon, Abhinav. So because of this, what happens? Because of this, there is no compulsion on Panchayati Raj institutions or municipalities to maintain any particular format in filing their grant या revenue या जो भी हो. तो इसलिए मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पंचायती राज ने क्या कहा? देखो, you cannot give me simply a parchi and then tell me, okay, send all your, what is it, money. Just give me a parchi and then I will send you all the money, whatever you need. No. I want it to be properly accounted, properly audited. Then send it to me. So, format whatever Ministry of Finance has prescribed, many states are not complying with it. क्यों? क्योंकि when I have to comply with it, corruption details will come out. This is the main highlight here because देखो 2 लाख से यानी कि 3 लाख करोड़ के आसपास सेंटर का फंडिंग है पंचायती राज के लिए, रूरल लोकल बॉडीज के लिए. उस 3 लाख करोड़ के साथ आप लोग क्या किया? सेंटर को जाने का पूरा हक है. Center has every right to know what are you doing with the grants, whatever we are sending it to you. So Panchayati Raj institutions should file proper returns and show, see, these are the account. But Ministry of Finance is telling, no, you cannot show however you want in the format that I have prescribed, in that you will show. If you are not showing, we will ask Ministry of Panchayati Raj not to send you any more funds. The committee emphasized the need for addressing funding delays by engaging with states or union territories at the highest level to ensure uninterrupted progress of schemes under RGSA. It also raised concerns about the inadequate availability of computers in Gram Panchayats, noting that out of 2,71,102 Gram Panchayats nationwide, only 2,19,889 have computers. Again, funding ke liye that is also required, right? Because everything is going online these days. So you cannot claim anymore that no, 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 we don't have a computer with us. But at least surprising thing, as you can clearly see, out of 271, 219,000 is having computers. It is only another maybe 52,000 odd panchayats are there which doesn't have what any computers. Additionally, the committee highlighted that as of January 21, 2023, only 80,742 rural local bodies have active internet connections, despite 1.92 lakh gram panchayats being made service ready. कंप्यूटर है, इंटरनेट कितने में है? 80,000. That means we can talk about own source of revenue, tax revenue, air revenue, war revenue. Basic level infrastructure is still lacking. There is a lack of computers, there is a lack of proper internet connection. जब ये दोनों चीज नहीं है तो it becomes very very difficult to actually ensure what any sort of compliance. आगे, the committee have also observed lack of broadband connectivity in the gram panchayats and use of private cellular data. For public service delivery during its study visits undertaken to states such as Maharashtra, the committee urged the ministry to take concrete steps in coordination with other two ministries to make all the 1.92 lakh service ready GPs to have active internet connection during 23-24 and to connect all gram panchayats with broadband connectivity by 2024-25. Yet to happen. It is still a process ongoing because at least another 2 years it will take, I guess, minimum to ensure that all the gram panchayats, 1.92 lakh gram panchayats are service ready gram panchayats are connected with broadband internet. It also recommended that the ministry ensure that all gram panchayats provide all mandated online assured services instead of confining only birth and death certificates. यानी कि सिर्फ बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट और डेथ सर्टिफिकेट ही नहीं, बाकी की जितने भी सर्टिफिकेट्स है वो भी क्या करना चाहिए? ऑनलाइन करना चाहिए. लाइक आई टोल्ड यू, हियर दे आर आस्किंग व्हाट फॉर व्हाट टू ट्राई टू मेक एवरीथिंग ऑनलाइन. Andhra Pradesh government has gone one more step ahead and told what? Make everything available in WhatsApp. Panchayats and health. Panchayats collaborate with health departments to operate clinics and dispensaries in rural areas, promoting institutional deliveries and conducting prenatal and postnatal checkups to reduce maternal and infant mortality rates. They also provide clean water and sanitation facilities, contributing to improved health conditions. States like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir, before it was a union territory, Karnataka, Maharashtra and West Bengal have high devolution scores and low IMR. ये क्या है? हाई डेवोल्यूशन स्कोर, लो आईएमआर. मतलब जहां जहां स्टेट्स हैव गिवन more power to panchayat, in all those states what we are seeing is it has a low infant mortality rate. यानी कि जो नए पैदा हुए बच्चे जो मरते हैं, infants who die at the time of birth, for every 1,000 births कितने बच्चे मरते हैं at the time of birth, that is IMR. So जो states उनके पंचायत को ज्यादा आजादी दिया है उनका IMR कम है, मतलब वहां का हेल्थ is doing good. Conversely, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Rajasthan, Odisha and Chhattisgarh have lower devolution scores and higher IMR. The map shows the percentage shortfall of primary health facilities in rural areas across states. Gray denotes states where health facilities were in surplus in rural areas. Again, so these are the states again. These are the states where health facilities were in surplus. Why again? Because devolution was more. Clear? The minister mandated weekly visits by Zilla Panchayat CEOs to Taluk centers and Gram Panchayat. Regarding pending enquiries, probes were ongoing against 253 Panchayat development officers, 130 Panchayat secretaries, 32 other officials for over a year needing expedited processing. So, what and all problems we have seen so far? फाइनेंस कमीशन ज्यादा फंड दे रहे हैं, स्टेट के पास उतना पंचायत के पास उतना पावर नहीं है, पंचायत के पास उतना स्टाफ नहीं है ना, पंचायत के पास कम डेवल्यूशन है, कुछ पंचायत को ज्यादा डेवल्यूशन है. देयर इज नो प्रॉपर यूनिफॉर्मिटी इन द स्ट्रक्चर. दीज आर सम ऑफ द पॉइंट्स वी सॉ. द अदर ऑब्वियस इश्यू इज व्हाट? We also saw that there is lack of infrastructure like internet and computer facilities. The minister noted that out of 46,655 employees in Gram Panchayat offices, only 63% were using what? E-attendance. मतलब बाकी के सब क्या आते हैं, महीने के एक दिन आएंगे, रजिस्टर खोलेंगे, ऊपर से नीचे तक they'll put their sign, take the salary, go home. He directed officials to ensure universal e-attendance compliance and to take disciplinary action against non-compliant individuals. लेकिन e-attendance अगर डालने के लिए भी उसके लिए क्या चाहिए? पहला चीज है इंटरनेट. The special officers should take charge with immediate effect according to the order issued by the Panchayati Raj and Rural Development Department. All right, people. So these are some of the ground level realities. फंडिंग ज्यादा हो गया तो खुद के फंडिंग के लिए इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, थियरी एक्स. फैसिलिटीज कम है, स्टाफ शॉर्टेज है, करप्शन ज्यादा है, नॉन कंप्लायंस है in filing things in the proper format as recommended by the Ministry of Finance. These all are the reasons for the poor performance. Coming to women's quota, Panchayat. Any doubts so far, people? Any doubts? The Union government's 2009 constitutional amendment to increase women's reservation in local governments from 33% to 50% failed. However, just give me a minute. All right. Many states have enacted laws that reserve 50% seats for women and also instituted reservations of seats for OBCs. पार्लियामेंट में लाने की कोशिश की, इट डिड नॉट वर्कआउट, बट मेनी स्टेट्स खुद ब खुद किया है ये. Again, we can say this is almost like showing some maturity here. Sub, let us not put it under, what is it, theory, X or Y. Hence, presently in panchayats and municipalities, there is at one level vertical reservation of seats for SC, STs and OBCs and a horizontal category of reservation for women that applies across all categories, general, SC, ST and OBC. So this 33% reservation agar for women hai, all right, specifically, चाहे वो OBC से हो, SC से हो, ST से हो. Then there is separate reservation for OBC, SC and ST. Panchayats in West Bengal and Rajasthan found that women leaders invest more in public goods and ensure increased women's participation in panchayat meetings. Which two states? West Bengal and Rajasthan. Aage. Women-led panchayats made higher investments in public services like drinking water, education and roads. Women's reservations worsened the targeting of welfare programs for SC/ST households and provided no improvement for female-headed households. मतलब एक तरफ things are looking good. Why? क्योंकि education, road, overall health, participation, इन सारे मामलों में we feel okay, women's panchayats are doing better. लेकिन SC/ST रिजर्वेशन के हिसाब से अगर आप देखोगे और फीमेल हेडेड हाउस होल्ड जहां पर मर्द नहीं है, मर चुका होगा या फिर वो बीवी बच्चों को छोड़कर वो कहीं और गया, these type of houses में we are hardly seeing any improvement. Why? Because we are a patriarchal society. जितना भी हम we try to improve women, a woman who does not have any male member in her family, that is, if she is a woman is heading the household, it is not at all entertained or looked kindly by the society. अगर बीवी छोड़कर गया है तो भी दे विल नॉट ब्लेम द मर्द, दे विल ब्लेम द बीवी ओनली. हाँ, उसमें कुछ कमी था इसलिए हस्बैंड उसे, उसके पति ने उसे छोड़कर गया. एंड कैस्ट सिस्टम आई नीड नॉट टेल यू, रूरल एरियाज द कैस्ट सिस्टम इज सो सिवियर एंड सो स्ट्रांग दैट that is the reason, one of the reason why people migrate from villages to the cities. क्योंकि सिटी में कोई आपसे ये पूछने थोड़ी जा रहा है कि आपका जात क्या है. Nobody cares. As long as you are doing earning an honest living, nobody cares what is your caste. Women leaders perform no differently than their male counterparts in South India, and instead, institutional factors such as maturity of the state's panchayat system were more relevant. यानी कि South India में you will hardly find any difference if it is male or females who are heading the panchayat. Instead, what really matters there is what? Maturity of the state's panchayat system. Maturity का मतलब क्या है? पंचायत system किस हद तक काबिल है? To what extent the panchayat system is capable? Means how much powers have been given to them. In Delhi constituencies reserved for women are less likely to elect OBC women and more likely to elect upper caste women. Like I told you, the same thing. Castes which come in the lower order, उनके ऊपर ना तरस है, ना empathy है, ना sympathy है. Whatever we see is a clear replica of what happens with the खा पंचायत. यानी कि upper caste वालों को हम elect करेंगे. अपर कास्ट, शादीशुदा, जिनका पति जिंदा है, पति वहां का फैसला ले रहा है, उसी टाइप की नारियों को हम वोट देंगे. अगर वो सिंगल है, कमिंग फ्रॉम SC, ST और OBC, we won't give them vote. Getting the point here? Bureaucratic resistance. So the next issue is what? Problem with women voters as well as with the overall caste system in the country. Let us look at the problems of bureaucratic resistance now. Bureaucrats, shielded from political pressures, resist empowering local governments, fearing loss of control over funds and their influential roles. A nexus with high ranking politicians further entrenches their position. Despite constitutional amendments granting local governments recognition 30 years ago, state governments and local bureaucrats continue to wield significant discretionary power, limiting the authority of elected local officials and undermining the amendments intent to empower them. मतलब bureaucrats don't like to give away their power. चाहे वो पंचायत हो, चाहे वो म्युनिसिपैलिटी हो, मैं क्यों अपना पावर दे दूं? पंचायत को क्यों इतना लोकल गवर्नमेंट बना दूं? इफ सारा फैसला लोकल गवर्नमेंट पंचायत लोग ही करेगा तो मैं क्यों आईएएस बनकर यहां बैठा हूं? बिकॉज दैट सेम प्रॉब्लम. सी, आईएएस ऑफिसर इज द किंग ऑफ द डिस्ट्रिक्ट. उस डिस्ट्रिक्ट के नीचे डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पर यू हैव डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्लानिंग कमिटीज which will have rural bodies and urban bodies. Below that you have intermediate panchayat. Below that you have panchayat. लेकिन पंचायत लेवल पर सारा फैसला पंचायत ले रहा है, म्युनिसिपैलिटी लेवल पर सारा फैसला म्युनिसिपैलिटी ले रहा है, तो कलेक्टर किस काम का? Why do I need a collector if panchayats are taking care of their work, municipalities are taking care of their work? Maybe for disaster management. अब सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के नीचे नहीं आएंगे. रोड कंस्ट्रक्शन पंचायत इज टेकिंग केयर, सैनिटेशन म्युनिसिपैलिटी, सारा जो भी पब्लिक के वेलफेयर से जुड़े हुए जो भी काम है, बोथ आर डूइंग इट. देन व्हाई विल आई बी देयर? मैं क्यों फिर? गेटिंग द पॉइंट हियर. दैट इज व्हाई देयर इज वेरी स्टिफ ब्यूरोक्रेटिक रेसिस्टेंस अगेंस्ट दिस. तो इसमें ब्यूरोक्रेट्स अकेले भी नहीं है. State governments and local bureaucrats continue to wield significant discretionary power, limiting the authority of elected local officials and undermining the amendments intent to empower them. दोनों मिले हुए यहां पर. It is understandable, right? Bureaucrats ultimately they are not going to be afraid of the gram panchayat or the municipality. उनके प्रमोशन हो, उनके ट्रांसफर हो, कुछ भी हो, इट इज इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट. सो ब्यूरोक्रेट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का मदद करेंगे, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ब्यूरोक्रेट का भी. लेट अस सी सम एग्जांपल्स. A three-pronged strategy undermines local government effectiveness. Organizational capacity is crucial for local governments, requiring engineers, office staff, and social mobilizers. However, staffing levels are inadequate, with some panchayats sharing a single secretary who operates from a shoulder bag. पहला इश्यू क्या है? स्टाफ के शॉर्टेज. और कुछ कुछ पंचायत में क्या है, यू हैव ओनली वन पंचायत सेक्रेटरी फॉर अराउंड 4 to 5 पंचायत. तो वो क्या करेंगे, सुबह अपना एक शोल्डर बैग लेकर वो निकलेगा. 2 घंटे एक पंचायत में, 2 घंटे अगले पंचायत में, 2 घंटे तीसरे पंचायत में, चौथे पंचायत विजिट करने के लिए वक्त ही नहीं होगा, वो चले जाएगा अपना घर. खत्म. सब डिस्ट्रिक्ट स्टाफ रिमेन अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ द कलेक्टर, लिमिटिंग लोकल ऑटोनॉमी. The line departments are loath to allow their local institutions, schools, anganwadis, primary health centers, veterinary hospitals, and so on, to be placed under the control and supervision of panchayat. मतलब जितने भी ऑफिसेस है वहां पर, गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसेस, चाहे वो पब्लिक वर्क्स का हो, रोड का, या फिर हॉस्पिटल हो, या स्कूल हो, या फिर कोई लोकल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड हो, कुछ भी हो, इंटरनेट सर्विसेज हो, ऑल दीज स्टाफ, गवर्नमेंट स्टाफ और वर्किंग देयर, इनका कंट्रोल किसके पास है? कलेक्टर के पास. कलेक्टर इन्हें ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं, सस्पेंड कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. सो ऑटोमेटिकली स्टाफ भी किसके सुनेंगे? कलेक्टर के। पंचायत प्रेसिडेंट या म्युनिसिपैलिटी के मेयर, कैन दे डू एनीथिंग हियर? नथिंग। दे डोंट हैव एनी पावर्स। यानी कि इलेक्टेड बॉडी होने के खातिर भी these people don't have any control over the staff. Staff will be controlled only by whom? The collector. सोच लो, सेंटर एक इलेक्टेड बॉडी है, एंड सेंटर डज नॉट हैव एनी पावर टू ट्रांसफर और कंट्रोल द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. इट विल नॉट वर्क. सिमिलरली म्युनिसिपैलिटी में भी, सॉरी स्टेट में भी, स्टेट इज हैविंग नो कंट्रोल ओवर द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, मीन्स nobody will like the state government. Same thing is happening here also. People are not interested in the panchayat or the municipality for this reason, because staff को ultimately control कौन कर रहा है? Collector. Collector किसके नीचे काम कर रहा है? State government के नीचे. Getting the point here? This is the main issue. So automatically I will not have any interest in the panchayat, right? Because I don't like an officer, I don't like a particular officer the way he is behaving with me. I will not go to a panchayat and complain. I'll straight away go to the collector and complain. Why now collector is having all this power? Because more often than not, collector कौन होगा? He will be somebody from outside the state. उसे कुछ भी मालूम, कास्ट उनका भी होगा, ओबीसी हो, एससी एसटी हो, जनरल कैटेगरी से, व्हाटएवर, कलेक्टर का कास्ट कुछ भी हो जाए, वो एक नए स्टेट में है जहां उन्हें कल्चर के बारे में कुछ भी मालूम नहीं है. सो ही विल बेसिकली ट्रांसफर पीपल हियर देयर एक्सेट्रा, पोस्ट देम बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट? ऑब्जेक्टिविटी एंड मेरिट, which the panchayat won't like, which the municipality won't like. Because these two organizations, unfortunately, are still affected by caste. Panchayats especially. We saw it already. ओबीसी लोगों के साथ या एससी एसटी लोगों के साथ किस तरह से पंचायत जनरली बिहेव्स. आगे, फाइनेंशियल कंस्ट्रेंट्स फर्दर restrict local governments. Despite recommendations from union finance commissions, funds devolved amount to less than 5% of union taxes, with strict conditions on usage and bureaucratic oversight. जो भी फंड दे रहा है, इट इज ओनली कमिंग डाउन टू व्हाट? 5% ऑफ द टोटल टैक्सेस कलेक्टेड. लेकिन इसमें भी क्या है? स्ट्रिक्ट कंडीशन रखा हुआ है कि कहां स्पेंड करेंगे, कितना स्पेंड करेंगे, कैसे करेंगे, एंड ऑल दीज आर डिटरमाइंड बाय हुम अगेन? कलेक्टर. Double authorization for spending and bureaucratic concurrence for disbursing payments complicate financial autonomy. मतलब, if I am the panchayat president, Abhinav is the collector, पहले मेरा साइन की जरूरत है, then I have to take it to Abhinav. Abhinav also should look at the whole project, the whole scheme. He should also approve it. Only then his sign will come. Only after his sign comes in, money can be spent. Varna, nothing. Getting the point here? That means elected representative have to sign. Executive officer also has to sign. It will take its own sweet time. The Sarpanch and the Panchayat Secretary who reports to the block development officer must co-sign checks issued for payments from the Panchayat funds. सरपंच कौन है? इलेक्टेड. पंचायत सेक्रेटरी कौन है? ही इज अपॉइंटेड. Another example of double sign. Clear? Local tax revenues like property taxes often lack emphasis, and officers influence spending decisions by consolidating funds and centralizing purchases. मतलब, there is no focus on collecting property tax. Emphasize ही नहीं करेंगे, क्योंकि अगर कलेक्ट भी करने के लिए प्रॉपर्टी किसके पास ज्यादा होगा? अपर कास्ट के पास. So who will go to the upper caste and tell, give the tax for all your property? Nobody is going to ask. उल्टा क्या हो जाएगा? कुल मिलाकर they'll take one decision. That is okay. We'll come out with one scheme for all the panchayats put together. Whether it will suit this panchayat, whether it is unsuitable for another panchayat, nobody is going to check. Centralized decision making by higher level officers and politicians overrides local autonomy, undermining grassroots decision making process and distorting beneficiary selection despite claims of neutrality. तो अल्टीमेटली सारे पंचायत के लिए आप जब एक स्कीम लाओगे तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है? लाइक आई टोल्ड यू, इज इट व्हाट द पीपल वांट? डज द पीपल डिमांड इट? किसको पता है? Sarpanch must maintain favorable relations with politicians and local bureaucrats to access discretionary resources, ensure timely fund disbursement, and successfully execute village projects. रिश्ता अच्छा होना चाहिए पॉलिटिशियंस के साथ भी, ब्यूरोक्रेट्स के साथ भी. कोई फंड मिलना है कुछ भी करने के लिए, their authority over local employees is constrained as recruitment and dismissal of functionaries like village watchmen or sweepers are typically managed at the district or block level in many states, leaving Sarpanch with limited administrative control. I already told you, Sarpanch has no control over the staff there. अगर सरपंच जाकर क्या कर रहे हो आप यहाँ? This is not the way to clean. Where are you? Where were you not? Why were you not present from morning? Where did you go? ये आज काम के लिए आना चाहिए था. Why didn't you come? That sweeper can simply say, तू कौन होता है बे सवाल पूछने के लिए? Why should I answer you? Because he is somewhere, some politician के care of पर he has come to work. He will only be wafadar or grateful to that politician or to the bureaucrat. Gram Panchayat president or Sarpanch cannot do anything. Unlike elected officials at other levels, Sarpanch can be dismissed while in office. This is the most saddest thing. यानी कि आप चीफ मिनिस्टर को या प्राइम मिनिस्टर को डिसमिस नहीं कर सकते. If they don't have a vote of, lose a vote of confidence or they don't have a majority, then they lose it. That is when the government falls. Understandable. Dismissing the council of ministers. But यहाँ पर nothing called as majority and all. Collector can dismiss a sarpanch. Collector. Let us see. Many Gram Panchayat Acts authorize district level bureaucrats, typically collectors, to take action against sarpanch for official misconduct. For example, Section 37 of the Telangana Gram Panchayat Act permits district collectors to suspend or dismiss sarpanch for reasons such as abuse of power, embezzlement, or failure to comply with the orders from higher authorities aimed at ensuring the effective functioning of the Gram Panchayat. Section 37 of the Telangana Act, Gram Panchayat Act, basically gives permission to the district collector to suspend or dismiss the sarpanch on 3 grounds. पहला क्या है? अब्यूज ऑफ पावर. पावर का गलत इस्तेमाल. लेकिन पावर का गलत इस्तेमाल का मतलब क्या है? किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में? नॉट डिफाइंड. मतलब इफ इट इज नॉट डिफाइंड मींस इट इज कलेक्टर हु विल डिसाइड कि अगर ये सही इस्तेमाल ऑफ पावर था और गलत इस्तेमाल, whether it was right use of power or abuse of power, collector will decide. Number 2, embezzlement. That is okay. Corruption. That is understandable. That anybody will understand. Teesra, failure to comply with orders given. What orders? Which type of orders? Not mentioned again. Collector has full power. Across the country, there are regular instances of bureaucrats deciding to dismiss sarpanch from office. In Telangana, more than 100 sarpanch have been dismissed from office in recent years. In one such case, the official reason was a protest by boycotting an official program against the denial of land for an electric substation. So a sarpanch asked a collector that we'll have little land we need to put up an electric substation. Collector did not give approval for it. So when some official program was there, where the collector, everybody were present, sarpanch did not attend it. Just because the sarpanch did not attend it, collector dismissed the sarpanch. Getting the point here. Moving on. Sarpanch face a cumbersome process for public works project approval, needing technical approval from the engineering department and administrative clearance from rural development officials like the block development officer. This involves frequent visits to government offices. In Palwal district, Haryana, Sarpanch spends significant time visiting government offices, meeting local bureaucrats and waiting for attention. This is the reality. कुछ भी अप्रूव अगर करना है, यू नीड टू नॉट जस्ट गेट द कलेक्टर्स अप्रूवल, वो तो चाहिए फॉर दैट स्कीम, लेकिन कंसर्न डिपार्टमेंट से पहले क्लियरेंस मिलना पड़ेगा. कंसर्न डिपार्टमेंट का मतलब दैट इज अ स्टेट लेवल डिपार्टमेंट. अगर वो लोग कह रहे नहीं 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 नहीं, नहीं ये सब नहीं होगा, नथिंग डूइंग. गलती से भी अगर आपको अप्रूवल मिल गया बाय सम वे, ड्यू टू सम एरर, यू गॉट द अप्रूवल फ्रॉम दैट डिपार्टमेंट, still it does not get over. You have to go to the collector and you have to get it done. Getting the point here, people? These are your non-scheduled areas. Then the fifth scheduled areas are the like Gram Sabha. Then six scheduled area districts, what is marked in green. Just a few where you have your tribal councils and all of that. PESA Act, ground realities. Okay, this we will take after a break. Let's rejoin back at 3:15. Hello. Yeah. All right, people. So we saw the problems with panchayats, funding issue, dominance of bureaucracy, political resistance, infrastructure problems, not getting the right staffing issues, women related issues, plenty we saw. Now, what about Panchayati Raj extension to scheduled areas? What about that? That at least are things going okay? Let us see. Tribals represented by the Odisha State PESA Gram Sabha Coordination Committee have demanded that the state government formulate rules for implementing the PESA Act. They criticized the Tribe Advisory Council for not adhering to fifth schedule provisions. मतलब इतने सालों बाद भी PESA Act has not been implemented where in Odisha. That is the thing. Demanded the state government formulate rules for implementing the PESA Act. मतलब ओडिशा में PESA Act का implementation आज तक हुआ नहीं है. 7 districts in Odisha recognized either fully or partially under Schedule 5, granting tribal special protection with direct intervention rights by the president and state governor on administrative issues. The major threat to scheduled areas is the land grab by non-tribal people. So 7 districts में comes under Schedule 5. They are given special protection that comes under president and governor. और वहां का सबसे बड़ा समस्या क्या है? What is the biggest problem there? Land is being grabbed by what? Non-tribal people. एक बार अगर पैसा आ गया तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? समझो, पैसा आ गया 7 districts में. And if I am the government, I will have to go to the Gram Sabha each and every time I have to do any developmental project. चाहे वो स्टेट की तरफ से हो, कोई प्राइवेट एंटिटी हो, कुछ भी हो, हर एक चीज के लिए आई विल हैव टू गो फॉर द वाटर, फॉर द रिसोर्सेस, फॉर द माइंस, फॉर द मेटालिक एंड नॉन मेटालिक रिसोर्सेस, कुछ भी हो, आई विल हैव टू गो देयर. बेस्ट थिंग टू डू इज व्हाट? डोंट इंप्लीमेंट पैसा. No PESA, no Gram Sabha, no need of any approval. I can bring any amount of private entity, grab any land that I want. Problem is solved. In Jharkhand, over a quarter of the population are tribals, with more than half residing in 12,164 villages. 14 out of the state's 24 districts fall under the 5th schedule, home to over 6.86 million tribals. Recently, the Department of Panchayati Raj in Jharkhand released draft rules for extensive public consultation to implement the Panchayats Act 1996. Despite the state's establishment 22 years ago, PESA has yet to be implemented, as noted by former Tribal Advisory Committee member Ratan Turkey. Matlab, Jharkhand, which is a predominantly tribal society, झारखंड वॉज क्रिएटेड, कार्व्ड आउट ऑल्सो एज अ सेपरेट स्टेट. क्यों? ट्राइबल लोगों की भलाई के लिए. लेकिन वहां पर भी 22 साल बाद व्हाट आर वी सीइंग? नथिंग. नो पैसा. अभी भी सोच रहे हैं कि कैसे पैसा इंप्लीमेंट करें. आगे. Some tribal groups strongly oppose panchayati elections in 5th schedule areas due to concerns about integrating elected gram panchayats with traditional gram sabhas for regional development. This is the new issue. This is the next issue there. District we can mark, ये district, वो district. लेकिन वहां पर क्या है? All the district won't be entirely tribal. Some places are what? Non-tribal will be there. You are bringing in PESA there. PESA आ जाएगा तो clash between what? Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha. Coordination between elected panchayat representatives and the Gram Sabha is crucial under the draft rules, where the Gram Sabha acts as the legislature and the Gram Panchayat serves as the executive. Under this arrangement, the Gram Sabha determines the implementation locations and beneficiaries of government schemes, while the Gram Panchayat executes them. So what is most important in these states, be it in Odisha, be it in Jharkhand, is you need a collaboration between what? Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha. Where Gram Panchayat will behave like the executive body, Gram Sabha will behave like the legislative body. On paper, it sounds very easy. Hakikat is far different from that. Getting the point here. Aage. However, conflicts between village and panchayat leaders and other representatives are anticipated. The PESA Act is operational in Himachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra. But Odisha and Jharkhand have yet to implement it under the 5th schedule. However, the Rajya Sabha on August 2nd, 2023 passed the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill 2023, according to which the permission of the Gram Sabha will no longer be necessary for any kind of construction or development work in non-notified forest areas. Non-notified forest areas का मतलब है अगर कागज पर it is not recognized as the forest area by the center, by the state, then it is not a forest anymore then. Get the point very clearly. Agar kagas par it is not defined anywhere that this is a forest area. It is not there under the center or state also. That means for those areas, if I have to do any construction activity, I don't have to consult whom? Gram Sabha. But this has been overturned now. Supreme Court made it very, very clear that when it comes to the definition of forest, you will go for what? Dictionary definition. Matlab, non-notified forest areas also will be considered as forest only. अब ऐसा कानून सेंटर ने क्यों लाया? Because this is the problem. Development चाहिए या nature चाहिए? Simple. Even very recently, near the Central University, Hyderabad, we know the whole incident where forest area was being cleared. Why? For some private company. Agreed. But ultimately, what is the goal? Development. Providing employment. Clear? Capacity building of PRIs. Capacity building of Panchayati Raj institutions is a key focus of the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. The ministry provides programmatic, technical and institutional support to strengthen PRIs, including advocacy for inter-ministerial and multi-sectoral coordination. Major capacity building initiatives include, these are basically for your way forward / conclusion. Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. This, you can just go through it, just read it. Details, more details of this, that is revamped RGSA. I will send it to you in the PDF format. Because that is there in the Ministry of Panchayati Raj's annual report is there. You don't have to read it. I will read it and I will send it. So very recently I have sent the internal security PDF also based on Ministry of Home Affairs report. I have sent that. Just like that I will send this one also. Need not worry. Okay. Urban governance introduction. Local governance in India, both in rural and urban areas, has historically addressed community issues. Providing civic amenities such as water supply, sanitation, and public works has been fundamental since the inception of local governments. During the Mughal Empire, Kotwals managed municipal functions alongside their duties in magistracy, policing, and finance. However, local self-government then was controlled by appointed officials rather than representative bodies of local residents. Modern Indian municipalities trace their roots to British colonial government, which we have already seen. Britishers basically to improve sanitation, and उनके पास ज़्यादा फंड भी नहीं था. सैनिटेशन और पब्लिक हेल्थ इंप्रूव करने के लिए उनको क्या लगा, चलो ठीक है, ये जो मुसीबत है, जिम्मेदारी है, let us give it to the local people, let them only handle the local stuff. That is how municipal administration started in India. लेकिन इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद म्युनिसिपल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन वॉज नॉट फोकस्ड मच. इट जस्ट गॉट इग्नोर्ड. देयर वॉज दिस लार्ज परसेप्शन दैट के शहर के लोग बड़े मतलबी हैं, शहर के लोग गंदे लोग हैं, शहर के लोग व्हाट इज दैट इंसानियत का चीज नहीं है. ऑल दैट, गांव के लोग अच्छे होते हैं. If you go back to the earlier movies also acted by Mr. Rajesh Khanna or Amitabh Bachchan or anybody of those era 60s 70s 80s era, agar aap dekhoge to they always show people from the cities in a bad light, because that was the general attitude of the society also. So city administration continued to be neglected in India until the 80s. 90s ke baad hi we started focusing properly on city administration. But by then what had happened was poor planning was there. There was hardly any planning into it, because the way Britishers planned, we couldn't plan it. So jahan, if you see even today also, take Delhi, take Mumbai, take Chennai, take Bangalore. If you visit these 4 cities, even Kolkata also for that matter, 5 cities, wherever you see wide roads, trees planted on both the sides, where you feel, अरे यार यहां से गुजरते हुए, it always feels good. Trust me, that is made by the British. I'm not telling the roads are exactly like how the Britishers left. No, Britishers planned it उस जमाने में ही कि यहां से 100 साल बाद भी भीड़ बढ़ गया, गाड़ियां बढ़ गई, तो भी यहां से निकल सके. So if you visit these cities, you will find an interesting irony. छोटे छोटे roads, बड़े बड़े roads, suddenly it will become छोटा, then suddenly it will become bada. Why? Jahan we go through very chote roads, that is made by Indian government. कि कोई किसी का building इधर से आ रहा है, वहां से आ रहा है, and then you make a turn and suddenly there is a temple on the road. You are like, यार कौन करता है ऐसा construction? Indian government. Wherever you see the roads are very wide, proper trees are there, buildings are there, properly like arranged in a neat row, एक end से दूसरे अंत तक, that is British. So let us take it up further. The first structured intervention was seen in Madras, where Governor Josiah Child introduced municipal government in 1687 to address Madras's conservancy issues. 1687, King James II granted the East India Company the authority to establish a corporation and a mayor's court in Madras through a charter. The civil government model after London included a mayor, aldermen, and burgesses empowered to levy taxes for constructing a guild hall, jail, school, and other public projects. Mayor's courts were established in Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay in 1726. Following this pattern, the first statutory municipal administration legislation came with the Charter Act of 1793, granting the Governor General of India authority to appoint justices of the peace for the presidency towns. Since 1793, justices of the peace were authorized to levy taxes on lands and houses in towns for scavenging, street maintenance, and security. Lotteries were also employed to fund municipal improvements until public opinion in England opposed this method, leading to its discontinuation in 1836. The system underwent significant change with the Councils Act of 1861, which notably affected the governance structure, including the famous town hall. The government exerted strict control over municipalities, appointing official chairmen and imposing conditions that limited genuine popular opinion, albeit granting some practical autonomy to a lesser degree. Appointing official chairman, a practice that continues even today. Outside presidency towns, municipalities were not established under 1842. Presidency towns means it is basically Calcutta, Mumbai, and Madras. When Bengal introduced an act allowing towns supported by 2/3 of households willing to pay taxes to form municipalities, this initiative was unsuccessful. In 1850, a British India-wide Act introduced indirect taxation methods primarily applied in the northwest provinces and Bombay, less so in Bengal and Madras, resulting in the establishment of numerous municipalities. So, 1850 say you are having what? Municipalities coming into the picture. Then, Lord Mayo began the advancement of self-government, advocating for electoral principles. However, it was during Lord Ripon's tenure that local self-government significantly developed. Ripon emphasized that local self-government was essential for popular and political education. 1884, in 1883-84, Act significantly revised municipal bodies, enhancing their powers and functions. Certain towns were permitted to elect chairmen instead of appointing executive officials. Municipalities were tasked with responsibilities including education, medical aid, and local public works funded partially from provincial revenues. It's all part of history. That is the only reason I am reading it out. As I have told you multiple times, this part, should you by heart it? No. But read it multiple times. क्योंकि अगर 10 मार्क के लिए अगर ये सवाल अगर आया कि trace the evolution of PRIs and municipalities in India, you should be able to write at least a few points. सारा याद नहीं रख सकते तो कम से कम important ones. Councils Act of 1861, Lord Ripon, Mayo, इतना तो याद रहना चाहिए. This transformed municipal government into a corporate body with elected members representing ratepayers and some appointed by the government. Frequently, the chairman of the municipality was elected from among its members. Municipalities gained control over funds and properties. Elected members typically served 3-year terms with election rules set by provincial governments. Voters needed property or status qualifications. Elections were ward-based or community-based or a combination. Municipalities' responsibilities grew over time, categorized as either mandatory or discretionary functions. Between 1881 and 1921, number of municipalities increased from 722 to 749. Notably, these urban areas housed only 15% of India's population. Lord Curzon significantly reduced the powers of municipalities, particularly the Calcutta Corporation. Lord Chelmsford acknowledged the need for local bodies to be representative and have substantial control, but he limited the franchise to include only ratepayers. Means only the taxpayers. Universal adult franchise was not available that time. He agreed to enhance local bodies' powers, yet reduce municipalities' control over funds, including those raised independently. Government of India 1935 broadened local bodies' functions but decreased their budgetary sources. In the United Provinces, a committee was appointed to assess municipal bodies, which reported in 1939. It revealed widespread public dissatisfaction due to the constraints imposed by their constitution hindering their efficiency. During World War II, from 1939 to 1945, local self-government reforms stagnated, resulting in partial reconstruction. Efforts to democratize these bodies by eliminating nominations, extending the franchise, or empowering elected presidents were notable in some provinces. India gained independence in 1947, offering an opportunity to implement reforms envisioned by the national leaders during British rule. Indian Constitution detailed protections for democracy in parliament and state legislatures, but did not explicitly mandate local self-government in urban areas. While village panchayats were included in DPSP, urban local bodies lacked specific constitutional mention apart from implicit reference in entry 5 of the state list assigning local self-government to states. This was the hatred towards urban bodies. DPSP में रूरल बॉडीज के पंचायत के बारे में मेंशन है, लेकिन अर्बन बॉडीज के लिए या फिर म्युनिसिपैलिटीज यू विल नॉट सी एनीवेयर इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेंशन्ड एक्सप्लिसिटली. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पीपल. कहीं पर भी नहीं है. The only closest indirect way of mentioning is entry 5 in the state list. जहां पर they are only talking about what local self government. Consequently, municipalities retained their inherited British era form. States formed laws to establish municipalities following reorganizations with structural similarities but significant differences in their scope of activities. Structure. State and Union Territory statutes govern the constitution of municipalities, classified into Municipal Corporation Acts and Municipal Acts, which define urban local body structure. ULBs. So let us see the structure of this now. ULBs consist of a deliberative wing led by an elected body headed by a mayor or chairman, empowered to debate, advise, warn, and criticize. Okay. So this is a deliberative wing. Deliberative wing means what? Basically, they will discuss, debate. Then there is what we call an executive authority, which rests with commissioners. That is basically, these are whom? Your IAS officers. Typically state government officers, often from IAS or senior provincial service in larger towns like Mumbai. For instance, South Delhi Municipal Corporation serves nearly 56 lakh citizens across 104 wards, overseeing civic amenities through over 40 departments. It's like huge. Charlie's department that comes under South Delhi Municipal Corporation to serve Aadhe or rather Adha crore people. In contrast, smaller municipalities like Nagar Palika Parishad, Gonda, Uttar Pradesh cater to about 1.25 lakh residents, have limited departments and functions. They focus on essential services like water supply, sewage, public health licensing, town planning, street lighting, and taxation, managed by 7 departments. City sizes across India vary significantly, leading to distinct organizational patterns and roles among ULBs. So, सिटी के साइज के हिसाब से द म्युनिसिपालिटी का स्ट्रक्चर भी बदलेगा, म्युनिसिपालिटी का पावर्स भी बदलेगा. आगे कमिश्नर सिस्टम. इन द कमिश्नर सिस्टम ऑफ म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशंस, मेयर इज चोजन indirectly by councillors for a renewable 1-year term, lacking executive authority. मतलब it's of no use basically. You can simply show off and say that you are the mayor, but other than that you don't have any powers. Councillors operate through the standing committee, which holds executive, supervisory, financial and personal powers with elected members. The municipal commissioner, appointed by the state, heads the executive arm with all executive powers vested in them. Councillors will operate through what? Standing committee. Councillors are what? People who are directly elected. जैसे कि मैं, सुगन्या, अभिनव, we are all councillors. Now among us we will elect a mayor indirectly. And जो भी करना है, we will do everything through a standing committee. लेकिन whatever we debate, whatever we discuss, ultimately who takes the decision? Executive authority किसके पास है? It is only with the municipal commissioner. While the municipal commissioner sets policies, the commissioner executes the municipality sets policies, commissioner executes them with their tenure determined by the state government. The commissioner, that is an IAS officer, उनका फ्यूचर किसके हाथ में है? स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास. So no IAS officer या municipality commissioner will ever take a decision which is against the state government. क्योंकि मेरा ट्रांसफर या मेरा प्रमोशन, इट इज इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द स्टेट. एंड जनरली लेट मी टेल यू वन मोर थिंग हियर. जैसे कि यू गॉट महाराष्ट्र कैडर IAS ऑफिसर, 10-15 साल बाद यू आर गेटिंग अ पोस्टिंग इन मुंबई एज द म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर फॉर नॉर्थ मुंबई. यू आर गेटिंग अ पोस्टिंग देयर. वुड यू वांट टू लूज इट? नो. व्हाई? प्लम पोस्टिंग, मुंबई में पोस्टिंग मिल गया है. बच्चों की पढ़ाई. टॉक अबाउट मीटिंग द पावरफुल पॉलिटिशियंस ऑफ इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स ऑल्सो यू विल बी एबल टू मीट देयर. सेलिब्रिटीज, क्रिकेटर्स, you name it, everybody, because obviously the financial capital of India. हु विल से दैट नो नो नो, मुंबई मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, मुझे वापस गांव में भेजो जहां बिजली नहीं है, इंटरनेट नहीं है? नो बडी विल से दैट. आगे. The commissioner's powers derive from statute and delegated authority from the corporation or standing committee. Mayor in council system introduced in West Bengal in 1984 comprises a mayor and elected council members with specific portfolios. The municipal commissioner acts as the principal executive officer under the oversight of the mayor as the chief executive officer. Municipal commissioner mayor के नीचे होगा, लेकिन ward committees formed by elected ward councillors manage local functions such as water supply, waste management, health services, housing, roads, parks and drains under the general supervision of the mayor in council. Typically, a directorate of municipal administration oversees these matters while corporations interact directly with the state government. The municipal commissioner, often senior to the director of local bodies, reports directly to the respective state department. मतलब कागज में इट विल सी मेयर का ओवरसाइट है ऑन द म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर, बट हकीकत क्या है? म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर इज रिपोर्टिंग टू द स्टेट. स्टेट इज कंट्रोलिंग ऑल द म्युनिसिपैलिटीज थ्रू द म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर. स्ट्रक्चर में, नाम में थोड़ा बदलाव देखेंगे आप, कमिश्नर सिस्टम एंड द मेयर इन काउंसिल सिस्टम, बट अल्टीमेटली द रियलिटी इज व्हाट? रियलिटी इज government controls through commissioner या फिर chief executive officer to control the municipality. जो इलेक्टेड है जैसे कि काउंसिलर्स या मेयर, इनका कोई हक ही नहीं बनता, कंट्रोल ही नहीं कर सकते. कुछ भी करना है, अप्रूवल हैज टू कम फ्रॉम द चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर और द कमिश्नर, हु मोर ऑफन देन नॉट इज whom is an IAS officer. The Constitution, 74th Amendment Act 1992 and SARC. 74th Constitutional Amendment Act introduced significant political, functional and fiscal empowerment measures for urban local bodies, including seat reservation for women and weaker sections, continuity in elected body governance, establishment of ward committees, and defining municipal functions under Schedule 12. It mandated the creation of State Finance Commission, Article 243Y. While Schedule 12 and 243Y are discretionary, other provisions are mandatory. However, states have not uniformly developed functions as per Schedule 12 as observed by the SARC. मतलब जिस तरह पंचायत के कानून या पंचायत के इंप्लीमेंटेशन, पंचायत का पावर्स में वेरिएशंस है थ्रू आउट इंडिया, म्युनिसिपैलिटीज इज ऑल्सो द सेम थिंग. आगे. The constitutional status granted by the 74th Amendment ensured permanency to municipal entities, enabling them to plan for local development and justice. However, the amendment did not specify the manner of election, tenure or powers of mayor across ULBs. मतलब 74th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट में कहीं पर भी यह साफ साफ नहीं लिखा है कि मेयर्स कौन होगा, इनके पास कितना पावर होगा, इनके पास क्या क्या कंट्रोल में होगा. नथिंग, नॉट अ वर्ड. मीन्स व्हाट? स्टेट तय करेगा कि क्या करना चाहिए म्युनिसिपैलिटी के साथ, कितना पावर देना चाहिए मेयर को. पावर ही ना दो, पूछने वाला कौन है? बिकॉज नथिंग इज मेंशन्ड इन द 74th अमेंडमेंट. मेंशन किए हुए स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन एंड स्टेट फाइनेंस कमीशन इटसेल्फ स्टेट इज नॉट फॉलोइंग, है ना. इफ मेंशन ही नहीं किया है तो फिर व्हाई शुड आई गिव पावर? Let me have the power through my IAS officers. Currently, some states like Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu have directly elected mayors, albeit with ceremonial rules. मतलब क्या है? They are only there for a ceremonial. बस वहां आकर स्टैंड करना है. That's it. स्पीच देना है. हाँ जी बोलना है. Whatever the IAS officer will say. Limited autonomy, varying tenure, and diverse powers. Directly elected mayor system provides legitimacy for interacting with bureaucrats to execute city projects. Alternatively, an indirectly elected mayor in council system adopted in Madhya Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh has the mayor accountable to the council with MIC aiding in governance. Second, ARC highlighted that in most states, mayors have ceremonial roles while commissioners wield executive authority, often leading to gridlock. Again, mind you, commissioners, when we say, these are IAS officers. So, there is a mayor, then there is a mayor in council, जिसके अंदर बाकी काउंसलर्स हैं. तो ये लोग यहां पर बैठकर डिस्कशन, डिबेट, ये सब कर finally it has to go to whom? Commissioner, who will simply say what? No, आपके ये स्कीम वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू इंप्लीमेंट. आपका स्कीम हम इंप्लीमेंट नहीं करेंगे, फंड नहीं देंगे. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डू दिस, वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डू दैट. Commissioner will decide. Whatever debate or discussion, whatever happens here, no use. Getting the point here? To enhance efficiency, the SARC recommended combining the roles of chairing the municipal council and exercising executive authority under the mayor or chairperson with commissioners delegated specific functions. मतलब executive authority SARC ने, Second Administrative Reforms Commission ने recommended give executive authority to the elected representative, that is the mayor. कमिश्नर का रोल थोड़ा कम कर दो, लेकिन no state will do this. It proposed giving ULBs the authority to select commissioners or chief officers to ensure accountability. Tenure is crucial. A uniform tenure of 5 years for mayors and chairpersons nationwide and a reasonably extended term for commissioners was suggested for continuity and accountability in ULB governance. Because one of the major problem is mayors in most states have tenure less than 5 years. This is also true with the commissioners. So what they are suggesting is minimum tenure should be there. Why? For continuity. Fire services, water supply, urban forestry, roads and bridges, slum improvement, interest of weaker sections, urban poverty alleviation, promotion of culture, education and aesthetic aspects, socio-economic planning, urban planning, including town planning, regulation of land use and construction of buildings, registration of births and deaths, registration of slaughterhouses, cattle pounds, burial grounds and crematorial, urban amenities including parks, public conveniences including street lights, public health, sanitation and solid waste management. All these are just for your information. These are the topics that comes under or subjects that comes under municipal administration. Ground realities, which is what always our focus area is. कि हकीकत क्या है? So thankfully, unlike our Panchayati Raj Act, where we saw Gram Sabha is there for scheduled areas, then there is PESA Act, which is for the extended to scheduled areas. Then we have the proper Panchayat Act under 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. We saw multiple structures there. यहाँ पर ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. यहाँ पर सिर्फ 174th Constitutional Amendment Act is only there. Depending upon the size of the city, it can be called a municipal corporation or a municipality. Depends. This ground reality, we will take it up tomorrow. ताकि our understanding becomes better. We understand because this is what is very, very important. Clear, people? So we'll continue our discussion tomorrow. Most probably this Friday itself, PubAd syllabus can be wound up. I know a few extra topics, that is what I would categorize as rare topics that would have come probably once or twice only. So earlier I thought I'll simply give a PDF out, but now I am thinking no need of that. I'll make videos of it and I'll post it in YouTube ताकि आप भी उसे access कर पाए. All right. And yes, I will keep it bilingual only. Okay. So that easily you will be able to follow it or understand it. वो videos जो will be uploaded in YouTube, visit it only later. Towards the end. अंत में करो वो सब. Whatever I have given in the class itself, please stick to that religiously. Okay. So this we will take up tomorrow.